Hey everybody, Steven Sitkowski here, leading educator on how to trade the financial markets. So, the roller coaster ride continues. Markets up several hundred points, down several hundred points. We just finished up another up day, up about 250 points. So we have essentially recovered most all of that one day 800 point collapse. And I want to show you something, and I use this as part of my 3-day training class. And I happen to be in Toronto right now. I'm getting ready to do a 6-day run here where I'm going to see 2,200 people, something like that, and share with them a lot of the same information that I share with you over YouTube. But in any event, take a look at this chart, because you keep hearing me talk about you got to protect your downside, got to protect your downside. And I'm not so much referring to the recent volatility, although that's what gets everybody's attention. But I want you to look at a historical perspective. So this chart goes back to 1871 through July of this year. And one of the things that I have always commented on is that the market, given enough time, will return to its mean. It'll return to basically pricing that would correlate to historical metrics. So this is what is called a regression trend line. And it shows when markets have been overpriced in the past. So we could come back to around 1880 and see that the market was undervalued by 30% at that point. So what did it do? It marched up, stayed above, got as high as 88%, above its regression trend line, and then it dropped, went down to 59%, up to 79, down to 67, and so forth. Okay, where are we now? As you go to the far right-hand side of this chart, we see that the market is basically overpriced by 112%. So, when was the last big recession that we had, which resulted in the market falling? And when did that occur? Well, the last one was 2008. So if we go back to 2008, we can see the markets were definitely overbought. Before that, 2000, market was 131% above where it ought to be. Right now, it's 112%. So question is, what does that mean, and what do you do about it? Why should you care? You should care because this market over time is going to adjust. Now, whether that's in a year or 6 months or 18 months, I don't know. Neither does anybody else. A lot of it's going to depend on what is happening politically, what the Fed does with interest rates. Most investors are expecting interest rates to get cut once again. We ended up with something known as an inverted yield curve here about 2 weeks ago. And an inverted yield curve means that the return you could get on a 2-year treasury was actually higher than on a 10-year treasury, which is normally the foreshadowing of a recession within 6 to 9 months. And so that spooked the market. So you sort of put all that together and you see that prices are relatively high. Protect your downside. How do you do that? Well, we've talked about how to use either put options. So put options, the value of a put goes up when the price of a stock goes down. But something else you can do, it is called buying a leveraged inverted ETF like TZA. Just make a note of that symbol, TZA. It goes way up when the market goes down at the rate of about 3 to 1. You could also buy the SH, which is another ETF, and it goes up at the same rate that the S&P 500 goes down. So this is called hedging. Now, what about if you are in a situation where you have most of your money tied up in a 401k? Well, you can't buy TCA and you can't buy put options. So what do you do then? You need to decide, do you want to be in equities or would you be better off sitting in cash? So right now, I'd have you in equities, but at some point, it's going to be appropriate to move to cash. So that's why I want you to follow me on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Be sure and click on the notification bell. And then every time that I come out with an update, then you'll be notified. But here's your big takeaway for the day. This market is overpriced, and it will ultimately come back down to its mean. And if you pay attention along with me, I'll keep you posted as to when I think that is most likely to happen. So till next time, have an amazing day. God bless. I'll be talking to you soon.